Hola mis amigos y bienvenidos a una lección sobre el subjuntivo. This is the when to part of your subjunctive lesson. Hopefully you've already seen my video on how to make the subjunctive, basically taking the O, dropping the O, and add the opposite ending and then making it agree. And now we're going to get more specific about when to use this particular verb mood, okay? Así que seguimos adelante. I like to think of the subjunctive as a truck. So I'll come back to the truck in a little bit, but for now, start thinking about trucking along with the subjuntivo, and then here, of course, is me, Profe Nesselrote, guiding you through. Bien, when it comes to the subjuntivo, for starting out with the classic examples of subjunctive, I call them classic examples of subjuntivo, you need all three of the following things. You have to have all three of them. One of these things is the word que, which means that in English. An example might be something like, quiero que vengas. Literally, I want that you come. I know we don't talk that way in English, but this is a way of breaking down subjunctive so that it is more logical to a native speaker of English. So you have to have que. Dos, you have to have a change of subject. And what I mean by change of subject is the first verb of the sentence has one subject, and you have que. Then the second verb of the sentence has another subject. So in this case, ella is the first subject, ella espera, and then tú is the second subject, que tú estudies. So the sentence is saying, she hopes that you study. There's a change of subject from ella to tú. Third, in order to use the subjuntivo, you have to have some kind of expression of emotion, doubt, influence, or negativity. And I abbreviate this with EDIN. You can call it Eden, like it's English. You can call it edin in Espanol. But these four words, emotion, doubt, influence, and negativity, sum up semesters of study on the subjuntivo. They put everything together. What your book divides into many chapters, I sum up with edin, emotion, doubt, influence, and negativity. Right now, for where we are in our studies, you have 6 expressions that show edin, emotion, doubt, influence, or negativity. We're starting out really simple with es bueno, es importante, es mejor, es necesario, es malo, es urgente. So in these early days, these are the 6 expressions you should be using that require the use of the subjuntivo. Bien? Bueno, siguiendo adelante, let's look at some examples then of the subjuntivo. Es importante que ustedes comprendan los verbos. Do we have all 3 things that are needed for subjuntivo? Let's see. We have the first item, que. Do we have a change of subject? We started with es importante, it is important, que ustedes comprendan. So we change from it is important to you all understand. So yeah, we have a change of subject. And do we have edin? Emotion, doubt, influence, or negativity? Yes, es importante is one of our 6 expressions we know so far that expresses emotion, doubt, influence, or negativity. When you tell someone that something is important, you are expressing emotion and you're also trying to influence their behavior. So it's important to see here, no pun intended, no play on words there. I want you to see here that you're dealing with 2 verbs. Es comes from ser, and the comprendan comes from comprender. You see that es is just a normal indicative conjugation like you've been doing since the beginning of Spanish 101, and then comprender has been conjugated in the subjunctive with the opposite ending. Since it's an ER verb, you change to the opposite ending for subjuntivo. Let's look at another example. Número 2, quiero que vengas a la fiesta. I want that you come to the party. Well, do we have everything we need? Yes, we have que. We have a change of subject from the yo form to the to form, and we have emotion, doubt, influence, or negativity. We have the verb I want. Not one of our 6 that we're learning right off, but it will come along later. Wanting shows influence. So you have that first verb that's normal or indicative, then you have que, then you have the second verb in the subjuntivo. Así es. Número 3. Es urgente que contestemos el mensaje de Raquel. You can think through that checklist of 3 things: que, change of subject, and emotion, doubt, influence, or negativity, and you'll see that all 3 things exist here with número 3. The que is evident. The subject changes from it is urgent to the we of we answer, and es urgente shows emotion. It shows influence when you tell someone something is urgent. 4. Juan necesita que arregles el dormitorio hoy. You can think through the checklist on your own now, those 3 things. We're working from the verbs necesitar and arreglar. Really start paying attention to the fact that the first verb follows the regular presente ending, then you have que, then it's the second verb that takes the opposite ending, that is conjugated in the present subjunctive. Y número 5. Mamá prefiere que estemos en casa antes de la medianoche. Yet another example of subjuntivo using the verbs prefiere from preferir and estemos, which is the subjunctive nosotros form of estar. If you need to spend some more time with these, if you want to hit pause and just reflect on these examples, if you don't understand why something is one way or the other, think about it and then let me know so that I can help you clear it up, because these really are great, simple, basic examples of using the presente del subjuntivo. As I said, when I think of subjunctive, I think of a truck. I've spent a lot of time on subjuntivo in my life. When I was a student in Spain, I was actually in a semester-long class called El Subjuntivo. It's all we studied, the subjuntivo. Not only that, the class started with 3 people. It was me, my roommate, who was asked to leave. That's a story for another day. And another girl who came back to the United States to get married. So if you do the math, 1 girl left to get married, 1 girl got asked to leave. Who did that? Who remained in the subjunctive class? That was just me. So you get really good at something when you're answering 100% of the questions in class all of the time. So, and that's kind of the beginning of how I put together this this graphic on the subjuntivo. So reviewing first how to do it, which was in my first video. How do you make the subjunctive? You take the yo from the present indicative, you drop the o, and then you add the opposite ending. The opposite ending for ARs is e. The opposite ending for ERIR is a. And then you make them agree. When do we use the subjuntivo? When there's a change of subject, que, and edin. Emotion, doubt, influence, or negativity. The first verb is indicative. In other words, the good old present tense you've been using since Spanish 101. Normal. Then you have que, holding this whole rig together, and then you have the second verb, which is conjugated in the subjuntivo. And that's how all those examples on the previous slide worked. There's me driving the subjunctive truck, my dream to drive a subjunctive truck across the country. And my truck has some really fancy wheels on it. Wow, are you impressed? It has 6 wheels, and those wheels are de, este, vaya, sepa, sea, haya. Those are all the verbs that are irregular in the subjuntivo, which I talked about in the previous video about how to make subjuntivo. But this graphic with the truck allows you to put everything together, the how and the when of making subjuntivo. Bien? Excelente. Vamos a practicar. ¿Eh? Here you have some sentences, really simple ones. They all start with these first expressions that we're learning. Es mejor, es importante, es urgente, etc. You see that they all have que. I bet they all have a change of subject. So now it's up to you to figure out what goes in that blank for the second verb for each sentence. So take a pause, think things over, and then you can check yourself. Y aquí tienen. Okay? So you can think through these examples, how each and every one of those second blanks took the subjunctive. In other words, taking the O, dropping the O, adding the opposite ending, and making it agree. So, bienvenidos a la idea del subjuntivo. I'm really excited about it. I love working on this with you. If you have questions, let me know. Muchas gracias y hasta luego.